Imagine a crisp winter morning. The sun barely crests the snow-covered peaks of the Yukon Territory. At the Alaska-Canada border, a line of lorries stretches back as far as the eye can see. The drivers shiver in the biting wind. They've been here for days, their cargo undelivered. The reason? Canada has blocked all land access to Alaska. This isn't a scene from a dystopian film. It's a plausible scenario, one that highlights the unique geopolitical situation of Alaska. Cut off from the contiguous United States, Alaska relies heavily on its northern neighbor for essential supplies. Road and rail routes through Canada are lifelines for the state. Alaska is geographically isolated. The vast majority of its food, fuel, building materials, and consumer goods arrive via a single highway, the Alaska Highway. This 1,387-mile ribbon of asphalt winds through British Columbia and the Yukon, connecting Alaska to the rest of the U.S. Disrupt this artery, and Alaska grinds to a halt. Supermarket shelves empty, petrol stations run dry, construction projects stall, the cost of living skyrockets as goods become scarce. For Alaska, Canada is not just a neighbor, it's a logistical lifeline. The United States and Canada share the longest undefended border in the world. The two countries are close allies with intertwined economies and a long history of cooperation. Yet, even the strongest of friendships can experience friction. Disagreements over trade, fishing rights, and environmental policies have surfaced in the past. In a world increasingly defined by resource competition and geopolitical rivalry, these pressure points could escalate. A dispute over Arctic sovereignty, for example, could lead to retaliatory measures, including a blockade of Alaska. Economic fallout, Alaska adrift. The economic consequences of a blockade would be devastating for Alaska. The state's economy, heavily reliant on tourism, natural resource extraction, and government spending, would be crippled. The cost of living, already high, would become unsustainable for many. Businesses would face crippling supply shortages and soaring transportation costs. The tourism industry, a major employer, would collapse as visitors stay away. Unemployment would soar and the state would face a humanitarian crisis. Global tremors, the wider impact. The impact of a blockade would reverberate far beyond Alaska. It would send shockwaves through the global economy, disrupting supply chains and raising tensions between the United States and its allies. The Arctic, once considered a region of cooperation, could become a new flashpoint in global affairs. The United States, its strategic interests threatened, would face a difficult choice: back down or risk a wider conflict with Canada and its allies. The situation has the potential to escalate rapidly, drawing in other global powers and threatening the fragile balance of power in the Arctic region. Echoes of history lessons unlearned? History is replete with examples of how restricted access to vital resources or strategic locations can lead to conflict. The Cuban Missile Crisis, the Suez Crisis, and the recent blockade of Qatar all highlight the dangers of economic and logistical vulnerability. These events underscore the importance of diversifying supply routes, fostering strong diplomatic relations, and anticipating potential points of conflict. The Alaska scenario serves as a stark reminder that geographic realities and political tensions can converge with potentially catastrophic consequences. Charting a course safeguarding the future. The best way to prevent a crisis is to prepare for one. For Alaska, this means reducing its dependence on Canadian supply routes. Investing in alternative transportation infrastructure, such as deep-water ports and air cargo facilities, is crucial. Strengthening diplomatic ties with Canada and other Arctic nations is equally important. Open dialogue, confidence-building measures, and joint economic ventures can help mitigate mistrust and reduce the likelihood of conflict. The future of Alaska, and indeed the Arctic region as a whole, depends on it.